Shalini Bhardwaj. Welcome back to ITV Networks Medically Speaking. In our last episode, we discussed about COVID-19 second wave and during this wave, how we can protect ourselves. And today we are going to discuss about pregnancy and COVID-19 related problems. We have with us top experts from the health industry, Dr. Sheetal Agarwal, who is a leading gynecologist at Apollo Royal Hospital, Dr. Ruchi Malhotra, who is a well-known IVF and senior consultant specialist at Fertile Solutions IVF and Research Center. We have with us Dr. Ekta Bajaj, who is a renowned gynecologist at Cygnus Ujala Hospital. Welcome to Medically Speaking once again, ma'am.
Thanks, Shalini.
So my first question goes to Dr. Sheetal Agarwal. Ma'am, how can our pregnant women protect themselves during COVID-19?
First of all, Shalini, thanks once again for inviting me on your show. I feel honored to come and talk about these relevant topics on your show. So thank you once again. Now coming to pregnancy and COVID. See, ideally, I try to tell my patients avoid becoming pregnant so long as this pandemic is there. I remember once a patient came to me, she has been trying throughout the pandemic to get pregnant. She even got IUI done because it was her opinion कि मैं घर में बैठी हूँ, so I might as well get pregnant and I'll be all right. So that is not the scenario. If you are trying to get pregnant, my advice is to please postpone it till this pandemic is over. The reason being that a pregnant woman is at a more risk to get COVID infection because her immunity is already slightly on the lower side. So her chances of getting COVID infection is there. And secondly, the complications related to COVID in a pregnant woman are also more. Here, I would like to say that the severity of COVID infection leading to death, though it is only 1%, but the long-term sequelae of COVID infection, that means after 6 months of also getting COVID, a patient can have sequelae of COVID infection like muscle ache, depression, anxiety, hair loss, anosmia, joint pain. It is there, and it is more severe in pregnant women than in a non-pregnant woman. So I would like to suggest that if you are planning pregnancy, delay pregnancy. But if in case you are pregnant, then you have to take all the precautions like a normal person. Just wear N95 mask, practice social distancing, avoid going out, avoid all these family functions, because now that people think COVID is receding, they are not understanding that a second wave of COVID has come. They are going out full out. They are using public transport. They are going to all family functions. They are going to markets. They are going to malls. They are going to cinema halls. So my advice to pregnant women is that you have to avoid all this. You don't have to go out unless and until it is absolutely necessary. And if you want to consult a doctor, go for online consultation, go for telemedicine, even avoid going to the hospital unless and until it is absolutely necessary.
Dr. Ruchi, my next question to you, ma'am, that are pregnant women more at risk during COVID-19? If yes, then why?
Thank you, Shalini, first of all, for having me over in your show. And definitely your question is quite relevant. The pregnant women are at a higher risk of, if you compare to a non-pregnant or a pregnant woman will have, she's at a higher risk for everything. For any mild infection also, she would be at a higher risk than her non-pregnant counterpart.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, especially Dr. Ekta Bajaj, my next question to you, ma'am. Can this virus be passed to a fetus also? If a woman is pregnant and she tested positive, so is there a possibility that a fetus can also get COVID positive?
First of all, thank you, Shalini, for having me on this show. Yeah, now I will answer your question. As such, we have very limited studies on COVID-19, but till now, there is no confirmation of transplacental transfer of virus. So, there are least chances that virus will be passed to the fetus during pregnancy. And the chance of infection, chance of transfer of COVID-19 from mother to baby, it's during delivery or after delivery. But during pregnancy, till date, studies say there is hardly any chance of transfer.
Can I say something in this, Shalini?
Yes, ma'am, please continue. Yeah, please.
See, a study was done. I agree with Dr. Ekta completely that there is no transplacental spread from mother to the fetus. A study was done in Wuhan, wherein they took a cohort of 29 women. They did not find of COVID positive laboring women. There was no evidence of transfer from a mother to the fetus at the time of delivery. Only one fetus was tested positive, but that was tested positive on day 3 of the delivery. So it is not known whether it is from the mother to the fetus or after delivery when the mother hold the baby that it was transferred. But Dr. Ekta is absolutely right in saying that there is no the transplacental spread from mother to the fetus as such has not been documented. But the studies are very limited and we are not sure about it.
Ma'am, Dr. Ekta, if a woman is COVID positive and she delivers a baby, so can she still continue her feeding to a baby? Because there are a lot of myths, people does not know about it.
See, definitely, if a COVID positive lady delivers, and she should definitely continue with breastfeeding, but she must take due precautions. She should wear mask when she is feeding her baby, and she should clean her hands, wash her hands. She should use sanitizer, and when she is not feeding baby, baby should be kept at a distance so that there is minimum chances of transfer of COVID to from mother to baby. But definitely she should continue with breastfeeding because breastfeeding itself is very good, very important for baby's immunity, and she should definitely continue with that.
Dr. Sheetal, there are myths that, which people talk about that, a mother can, pass, a COVID-19 infection to a baby if she is already infected from COVID-19.
No, it is a myth. As it is, I have already told you, and Dr. Ekta has also said, there is no transplacental spread. She cannot, it is not documented. We do not know. There could be, but so far the studies are saying that there is generally no transplacental spread. Secondly,
if we talk about breastfeeding,
yes, I'm coming to that, Shalini. If you are breastfeeding the child, then see to it that you are just like Dr. Ekta is saying, sanitize your hands, wear a mask. Immediately after feeding your baby, give the baby to the caretaker. You don't have to hold the baby in your lap for long. Just hold the baby for breastfeeding. Breastfeeding will not transmit the virus from mother to the fetus, to the baby. Rather, breastfeeding will give immunity to the baby, which is very important at this stage that the baby should be immune. So breastfeeding should not be stopped, but the contact of the mother with the baby should be minimized. It should be, just for the breastfeeding. Thereafter, the caretaker will take the baby and we can give rest to the mother. That should be the protocol followed strictly.
That's very important. Dr. Ruchi, what kind of precautions, ma'am, you are taking at your center, at IVF centers, because couples are coming to you for consultations and all?
Now, once the pandemic is going down, the cases are going down, the IVF couples who have been, postponing their treatment are now looking forward for their treatment because after all, there's a biological clock for a woman. She cannot keep on postponing her pregnancy for, infinity. She doesn't know. We don't know when this pandemic is going to end. So when this has come down, couples are coming forward and we are taking all the universal precautions which are directed by the ICMR also, and like maintaining social distancing, not letting the patients wait for long, having less staff in the center. So we are taking these precautions, sanitizing the, hospital. These things have to be taken care if we have to provide a quality care.
Dr. Ekta Bajaj, what kind of precautions you take during the delivery, because it has a lot of complications involved, and what kind of care you at that particular time you need to be taken care of, what kind of precautions you take?
Shalini, you are asking in reference to delivery
At the time of delivery, when you
at
go
the
for
time
the,
of
yeah.
delivery. Yeah. Yeah, we have to take universal precautions, and sometimes our patients land in emergency and we don't know her COVID status. Maybe she's positive, maybe she's negative, but we have to welcome her, we have to deliver her. So we have to take proper universal precautions. The way we have learned to deal with HIV, HBsAg, and other viral diseases, we have to learn how to deal with COVID-19. And for delivery, we should use when we are conducting delivery and during labor, we have to doctors as well as staff, they should wear proper N95 mask and PP kit and face mask, everything. So all the time they have to, proper precautions have to be taken. And staff, they should work in shifts so that there is minimum exposure. And we should try to use disposable things which we use during OT or during labor, so that infection is now not passed on to other patients.
Dr. Sheetal, conducting a delivery at that particular stage when nobody was aware about COVID-19, it must be a difficult task, because I met so many doctors and they shared, their experience that wearing a PPE kit, sometimes they get full of sweat. It's so difficult for them to handle that particular situation. So what you would like to share about that particular experience?
Shalini, I would like to share a very interesting experience. One day I got an emergency call from my hospital that a patient has come and leaking and she requires emergency cesarean. So I went. Patient told I got COVID done and 4 or 5 days back I'm negative. Anyway, it was an emergency. We wore our PPE kit. We sent the COVID sample. I'm telling you this story when the epidemic was at its peak and there was complete lockdown. We took all the precautions. It is mandatory, if you don't have the COVID report, we consider each patient as COVID positive unless and until we get the report. So this we have learned in this pandemic, any patient who comes to us should be taken as COVID positive unless and until he shows us the report 24 hours back if they are negative. So that patient I delivered, and then in the evening we got the report that that patient is COVID positive, and that patient was refused admission at 2-3 hospitals because she was COVID positive. And the patients, they are so smart. She came and told me my COVID test is negative. I don't have the report. And since it was an emergency, we have to deliver the patient. So that was a shocking experience, but we learned from that experience that irrespective of the fact patient is COVID positive or negative, we have to wear a PPE kit like we deliver HIV positive patients, Australia antigen positive patients. We take all the precautions. We use disposable, which are then incinerated. They are not disposed of like this. They are incinerated so that the infection is not passed off. And normally, whenever we admit the patient for delivery, we see to it that one day prior we get COVID test done. But in emergency, if the patient comes, we still send their COVID report and then take the patient for delivery. But it was very common. The patients became so smart later on at the time of pandemic and lockdown that they never used to tell. They started hiding their reports. And then we had to take all the precautions. And we had to, like Dr. Ekta said, we have to, do the shift duties of 6 hours duration each so that our residents are not exposed for a longer time to the patients.
Dr. Ruchi, ma'am, again, cases are rising. Do you think it is a right time for those people who wants to go for IUI or IVF treatment? They should go for this treatment right now, because again, the number of cases are increasing. What you would like to say?
Shalini, we have to take the precaution. We check the patients for their COVID report, and then we have to inform the couple. It's their choice whether they want to take the treatment or they don't want to take the treatment. We have to give them a proper counseling that they pandemic is there. If they can wait for some time, it is better. But if they are unable to wait, then we are okay to do the treatment, provided all the precautions are taken.
That's important. Dr. Ekta, ma'am, my next question is to you that what do we know about COVID-19 vaccine and pregnancy? Because people does not know that, they should go for vaccination or not. If they want, they should go for the vaccination, then what are those guidelines which we already have? So please tell us, our viewers, about it.
Yeah, till date, COVID-19 vaccine, it is not recommended for pregnant women and lactating women. It is contraindicated till date because we have limited study and this vaccine is quite new. And there are no studies on pregnant ladies and breastfeeding mothers. So they cannot go for vaccination. It is not recommended till date.
Ma'am, Dr. Sheetal.
Now, I would like to add something. When this vaccine came, Shalini, it was not recommended. But now the latest guideline says, according to WHO and our American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, pregnant women should be vaccinated for this. It is just like, they are being vaccinated against SARS also. So they are saying if the pregnant women are getting vaccinated against SARS, it is high time pregnancy, and this is the latest guidelines I'm discussing, pregnancy and lactation, the vaccination should be given because this will avoid the complications in the pregnant woman also. They may get the disease even after getting the vaccination, but the severity of the disease will be low. The chances of admission to the hospital will be low and the chances of harm to the baby will be low. So these guidelines, according to WHO and according to our various bodies, they are saying that pregnancy and lactation, this COVID vaccine should be given. Again, 2 doses of COVID vaccine should be given. So now we are recommending.
So, ma'am, if somebody wants to, conceive, then do you think the available vaccines are safe for them?
Yes. See, if you want to conceive, it is always better you get yourself vaccinated. And 2 weeks after the second dose of vaccination, your immunity status is very good. Then you can plan a pregnancy. This is very important. If you are planning a pregnancy, better get vaccinated. Get both the 2 doses. After 2 weeks of the second dose, when your antibody titer is very high, then you can start planning your pregnancy. And if you are pregnant and lactating, you should go for vaccination.
Dr. Ekta Bajaj, what you would like to say about it?
Yeah, actually, I came to know through ma'am only that it is recommended according to latest guidelines, but definitely I need to check on that. And
please go ahead.
And what about status in India?
See, these guidelines have come from American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and WHO has also given these guidelines that the pregnant women should be vaccinated. But as you can see, the drive in our country, now we are vaccinating only people above 60 years and above 45 years with comorbidities. So they have not yet included pregnancy and lactation, as you know, in this drive. But later on, as the things open up, I'm sure the government is going to come with the clear guidelines that once it is open to all the people, that vaccine should be given to pregnant and lactating women.
I would like to add something.
Please.
Shalini, can I say something?
Yes, please.
Yeah, actually, safety of these vaccines, it is not established yet. And 17 countries, they have banned Covishield vaccine, So according to my knowledge, I would like to use in my patients, even if it is recommended below 45.
Yeah, Dr. Ruchi.
There wouldn't be any, long-term trials. Like 9-month period is a long-term period for a pregnancy to go on. So there wouldn't be any trials that time. We are just giving the vaccine and we are seeing the response. We don't know what it's really going to do.
See, Covishield was banned, but now the latest AstraZeneca has come up with the report that the severity of these symptoms are not that bad.
And US has given permission also.
Yes, US has given permission. See, these things will keep on coming. The
controversy will continue.
it will continue. Today, Covishield is when tomorrow something will come against Covaxin. I remember in USA, a study had come that with Pfizer, 2-3 people have died with the Pfizer vaccine. So these controversies will continue only. There's no end to it.
It's for a pregnant lady and her child and her fetus. That's the thing.
See, we are not sure. There's no studies have been done. But WHO has come with the recommendation that it should be given in the pregnancy based on the earlier trials that SARS vaccine is being given to the pregnant woman. So WHO has come with the recommendation that it should be given to the pregnant woman. This is the latest guidelines that have come.
Okay. Ma'am, we discussed about the delivery, the consequences of COVID-19 during at the time of, delivery and all. So what are the consequences after, post care, which is required for every female after the delivery? How it has affected those particular cases?
Shalini, same precautions have to be continued even in the post-delivery period. Likewise, I have told you the immunity is slightly low during pregnancy and during lactation. A woman is susceptible to it. So you have to take all those adequate things like you were taking at the time of delivery, of face mask, wearing face mask, social distancing, hand sanitizing. Tell my patients whomsoever I deliver that please minimize the number of visitors to the ward, because we don't know which visitor is a carrier and which is not a carrier. So I'm very strict. I don't let many visitors, rather I limit them to only one visitor at a time, and I don't let them touch the child or take the child in their hands. And I tell them that even if you have come to visit the new mother, just maintain a distance of 6 to 8 feet, see her and then go back. You don't have to sit and chat with her. So this I instill in my patients also, that once you go home, still also you be very careful. Don't let many people come and see you and the new baby.
That's important. Dr. Ekta, in your OPD, you must be meeting so many patients on the daily basis. Still, people are taking precautions, or they have stopped taking precautions because number of cases are increasing daily.
Yeah, number of cases are definitely climbing up, and but attitude of people is already changed, and people are taking it casually. They are taking it lightly. They are not taking it that seriously as they used to take it in earlier times. But in clinic, we definitely try to maintain norms, which we should. But definitely, people are not taking proper precautions. They don't like to wear mask. If they are wearing mask, they will touch, they will remove, such kind of things. These are happening now.
Dr. Ruchi, COVID-19 is striking back. What you would like to say? What kind of, guidelines you are discussing with your patients?
We have to maintain all the norms. Social distancing is the most important, I think. Maintaining your respiratory hygiene, wearing a face mask, sanitizing frequently. These are the main things which need to be taken care. As a healthcare personnel, we need to, counsel our patients that these things are very important and we have to protect ourselves. Then only we can protect everybody else.
Dr. Ekta Bajaj, what kind of, especially in this particular, what can be the reason behind it? Why so many abortion cases has been reported in India during COVID-19?
COVID-19 is not responsible for abortion or miscarriage or preterm deliveries, according to studies. But I'll say again, we have very limited studies. But so far, pregnant ladies, even if they are positive, they are doing well, and they are delivering healthy baby. Even in newborn infection, if it happens, it is mild, and newborn, they also do well with even if affected with COVID-19. Reason for abortion could be stress, and secondly, there was lack of medical care, because due to fear of COVID-19, people were visiting less, and they were not visiting their obstetrician. Maybe because of that, there was lack of proper checkup, proper antenatal visits, ultrasound, and other tests which we normally do in pregnancy. Maybe due to lack of medical care or stress, that could be the reason. But COVID-19, that is not responsible for miscarriage or preterm deliveries.
Well, do you think the number of abortion cases have been increased during COVID-19? Dr. Ruchi, what you would like to say about it?
I think Dr. Ekta has, told very clearly, COVID is not responsible for abortions as such. But definitely, I think the scare of the disease was so much. The pandemic was such a high peak. Maybe you're talking about the MTP, which people have gone in for. Maybe that's what you want to discuss. Ki the chances of MTP have gone up. Cases of MTP, because people were scared. What is going to be the outcome? So they have taken, medical abortion themselves. They have taken. These things have happened just primarily because of the scare of the disease. That's about all I would say.
Thank you, Dr. Sheetal Agarwal. Thank you, Dr. Ruchi. Thank you, Dr. Ekta Bajaj, for discussing us on such an important topic, that is pregnancy and COVID-19 related problems. Thank you for joining us on Medically Speaking.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.